Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
Children, today you will continue revision of chapter Reproduction in Animals. Okay?
मैम स्कूल अल्टरनेटिव चलेगा.
You will get the notice about it. Okay? Have patience.
पीयूष नोटिस आ गया स्नैपचैट पे.
नोटिस आ गया.
Okay, then you know already, then why are you asking me? Everything can be known with the help of
मैम देखे नहीं थे.
circular will be given and then you will come to know about timing and everything. Okay? So now you will continue revision of chapter Reproduction in Animals. Okay, children? In the previous class, you had studied what is reproduction, what are the different types of reproduction, and you have also read about the male reproductive system and female reproductive system. Okay, children? Had you revised all the topics?
Yes, ma'am.
You have also read about reproductive pattern. Can you say different types of reproductive pattern with example?
Internal fertilization and internal development.
Three different types of reproductive patterns in human: external fertilization and external development. Example from external fertilization and external development. Example and internal
Yes, children.
fertilization and internal development.
Yes, you have revised. First one you have read external fertilization and external development, and it takes place in frog. Next you have read internal fertilization and external development. You have seen it takes place in hen. And last one you have read, that was internal fertilization and internal development, and it takes place in human beings, elephant, cat, dog, lion, tiger, means in the mammals. Okay, internal fertilization and internal development takes place. And then can you say what is hermaphrodite?
An organism which has both types of gametes of male and female.
Example, earthworm.
Yes, some organisms may produce both the types of gametes, male gamete and female gamete, and such individuals are called hermaphrodites. Okay, what is parthenogenesis? Can you give some example of parthenogenesis?
Parthenogenesis is a form of asexual reproduction in which female lays eggs with develop without fertilization. Example, ant, bee, etc.
Yes, you have seen parthenogenesis is a type of asexual reproduction. It takes place in ant and honeybee and some other rotifers also, some invertebrates also. And what happens in parthenogenesis? The development takes place with the help of unfertilized eggs. Unfertilized egg develops into an individual. That is called parthenogenesis. It is a type of asexual reproduction. Okay. Now you have read about the male reproductive system and female reproductive system. What is the function of female reproductive system?
The function of the female reproductive system are it produces eggs for fertilization. In oviduct, it receives sperms from where it fertilizes the egg. It also provides good site for fertilization, and it protects the embryo in the uterus.
Yes, children, you have read that the function of female reproductive system is to produce ovum, and It also provides the site for fertilization. You have seen that fertilization takes place in the oviduct. And after fertilization, zygote is formed. Zygote develops into embryo, and uterus provides the site for the attachment of the embryo. The embryo develops into fetus in the uterus, and all these are the function of the female reproductive system. Okay. So you have seen what is the function of female reproductive system? It is very important. Diagram of female reproductive system and function of female reproductive system. In the diagram, you can see different parts of the female reproductive system, different organs. Female reproductive system consists of ovary, oviduct, uterus, and vagina. So you can write the function of all these parts together in the function of female reproductive system. Like ovary produces ovum, and ovary also releases hormones, estrogen and progesterone. Oviduct provides the site for fertilization, and uterus provides the site for the attachment of the embryo, and the embryo develops into fetus in the uterus. So all these are the functions of the female reproductive system. Had you practiced the diagram of female reproductive system, male reproductive system, and sperm?
Yes, ma'am.
It is very important from final examination point of view. Out of these three diagrams, any one diagram will be asked. Okay, so you have to practice these three diagrams. Mostly female reproductive system and diagram of sperm is being asked in the exam. Okay. Now children, you will study how does fertilization take place. It is the next topic. How does fertilization take place? Fertilization takes place in the initial part of the oviduct. Because in this part, the sperm and ovum fuse together and form zygote. Okay, so fertilization takes place in the initial part of the oviduct. Means sperm and ovum fuse inside the oviduct. Fertilization is internal. After fertilization, the zygote is formed. Zygote is a single cell, okay, and it contains the nuclear part of the sperm and the nuclear part of the ovum. And from the zygote, child is developed. So child has some characteristics of father and some characteristics of mother. Okay, children? Why the children are similar to their parents? Some characteristics are carried from the father and some characteristics are carried from the mother. How it happens? As I told you that in the oviduct, sperm fuses with ovum. Okay? And the nucleus of sperm and ovum fuse and zygote is formed. In the zygote, the nucleus of father and mother both are present. Okay, so the nucleus of the father, that cell, sperm, the nucleus of the sperm gives the characteristics of the father, and the nucleus of the mother gives the characteristics of mother. So children have some characteristics of father and some characteristics of mother. Did you understand, children?
Yes, ma'am.
So why the children have some characteristics of father and some characteristics of mother? Because the zygote contains the nuclear part of the sperm and the nuclear part of the ovum. So the children have some characteristics of father and some characteristics of mother. Is it clear to you? Very important question. Okay, why the child has some characteristics of the father and some characteristics of the mother? As you know that fertilization takes place in the initial part of the oviduct. Means sperm and ovum fuse in the oviduct. When sperm and ovum fuse, zygote is formed. In the zygote, there is nuclear part of the sperm and nuclear part of the ovum. So the child has some characteristics of father and some characteristics of mother. Is it clear to you, children? Why the child has some characteristics of father and some characteristics
Yes,
of
ma'am.
mother?
Yes, ma'am.
Any problem?
No, ma'am.
Okay, very important question. Have you underlined in the book? All of you underline in the book.
Yes, ma'am.
Very important. Now next is development of the embryo. Next topic is development of the embryo. Just now you have read sperm and ovum fuse to form zygote. Now this zygote divides into two cells, and again these cells divide. These cells divide again and again repeatedly, and within next couple of days, resulting cluster of cells take place. Okay. The zygote divides firstly into two cells, and then these two cells again divide, and within couple of days, many cells are formed. Cluster of cells are formed. Cluster means group of cells are formed. And now it is called embryo. So from the zygote, embryo is developed. Now this embryo makes its way in the lining of the uterus. This embryo implants, it is called implantation. The embryo implants in the wall of the uterus. Okay, children? And in the uterus, this embryo again divides, and in the embryo, different organs start to develop, like head, leg, etc. Different organs are developed, and now it is called fetus. Now it is called fetus. And after 9 months, the fetus comes out from the mother's body. Now it is called infant. That 9 months period is called gestation period. Am I clear, children? You have seen, children, that sperm and ovum fuse in the initial part of the oviduct. It is called fertilization. After fertilization, zygote is formed. Zygote is a single cell. Okay? In the zygote, there is nuclear part of sperm and nuclear part of ovum. So the child has some characteristics of father and some characteristics of mother. Am I clear? Now, this zygote divides into two cells. Okay? And it starts to divide again and again. And within couple of days, cluster of cells are formed, that is called embryo. Now this embryo makes its way in the wall of the uterus. This embryo implants, attaches itself in the wall of the uterus. It is called implantation. And after implantation, you know, children, the embryo, in the embryo, different organs start to develop, like head, eyes, legs, etc. And then it is called, developed embryo is called fetus. And after 9 months, the fetus comes out from the mother's body. Okay, individual is born and it is called infant. Did you understand, children?
Yes, ma'am.
बच्चों का जन्म कैसे होता है, ये अभी आपने देखा कि मदर्स के बॉडी में रिप्रोडक्टिव सिस्टम में आपने पार्ट देखा ओविडक्ट. ओविडक्ट के इनिशियल पार्ट में स्पर्म और ओवम फ्यूज होते हैं, मिक्स होते हैं. तो जब मिक्स होते हैं तो जायगोट बनता है. स्पर्म और मेल रिप्रोडक्टिव सेल है स्पर्म, और फीमेल रिप्रोडक्टिव सेल क्या है, ओवम. और स्पर्म और ओवम जब मिक्स होते हैं तो जायगोट बनता है. ठीक है? जायगोट में न्यूक्लियर पार्ट होता है स्पर्म का और न्यूक्लियर पार्ट होता है ओवम का. और इसी से चूंकि बच्चों का जन्म होता है, इसलिए बच्चों में कुछ कैरेक्टर फादर का होता है, क्योंकि फादर का न्यूक्लियर पार्ट होता है जाइगोट में, और कुछ कैरेक्टर मदर का होता है, क्योंकि मदर का भी न्यूक्लियर पार्ट, ओवम का न्यूक्लियर पार्ट होता है जाइगोट में। ठीक है, स्पर्म का न्यूक्लियर पार्ट और ओवम का न्यूक्लियर पार्ट जाइगोट में होता है। इसीलिए बच्चों में कुछ कैरेक्टर फादर का होता है और कुछ कैरेक्टर मदर का होता है। ठीक है, और जब ये फ्यूज होते हैं, इस प्रोसेस को फर्टिलाइजेशन कहते हैं। फर्टिलाइजेशन के बाद, जब फ्यूजन के बाद एक सिंगल सेल बनता है जिसको जाइगोट कहते हैं, और जाइगोट में फिर डिवीजन होता है, सेल डिवीजन होता है। ठीक है, और 2 सेल बनता है, फिर ये विद इन कपल ऑफ डेज, ठीक है, ये बहुत सारे सेल में डिवाइड हो जाता है और एक बॉल बन जाता है सेल का, क्लस्टर ऑफ सेल, ग्रुप ऑफ सेल, बहुत से सेल हो जाते हैं। इसको हम लोग अब कहते हैं एम्ब्रियो। और अब ये एम्ब्रियो यूटेरस के वाल में अटैच होता है। इस प्रोसेस को इम्प्लांटेशन कहते हैं, और वहीं पर एम्ब्रियो में डेवलपमेंट होता है। एम्ब्रियो में सारे ऑर्गन्स स्टार्ट हो जाते हैं डेवलप होना, और जब ये ऑर्गन्स डेवलप हो जाते हैं तो इसको हम लोग कहते हैं फीटस। ठीक है ना, और 9 मंथ्स जो ये सारे प्रोसेस में लगते हैं उसको हम लोग जेस्टेशन पीरियड कहते हैं, और उसके बाद फीटस जो है वो मदर के बॉडी से उनसे बाहर निकलता है, और इसको हम लोग कहते हैं पार्चुरेशन। और जो बच्चों का जन्म होता है तुरंत, उसको हम लोग कहते हैं इन्फेंट। तो ये सारी बातें क्लियर हो गई आपको? डेवलपमेंट ऑफ द एम्ब्रियो में सारी बातें लिखी हुई हैं, ये आपको
Yes, ma'am.
समझ में आया?
Yes, ma'am.
अब
Yes,
एक क्वेश्चन
ma'am.
यहाँ पे काफी इम्पोर्टेंट है, वेरी इम्पोर्टेंट क्वेश्चन। डिस्टिंग्विश बिटवीन एम्ब्रियो एंड फीटस। कैन यू डिस्टिंग्विश?
Yes, ma'am.
Embryo
Yes.
is the early developmental stage of an unborn
It is an
organism.
early development stage of an organism, whereas zygote is a single cell get formed with the fusion of male and female gametes.
No, question is distinguish between embryo and fetus, not zygote.
Embryo is the early
Embryo and
developmental stage of
fetus.
an unborn organism, whereas the fetus is the later stage of development of an unborn animal, the stage where all its body parts can be identified.
Yes, very good, correct answer. Okay, when the body parts can be identified, then it is called fetus, and embryo is a cluster of cell. Okay, now it is next is children, how the twins are formed. Okay, children, how twins are formed? You know, you have studied that the ovary forms ovum. Okay, out of the 2 ovaries, only 1 mature ovum is released. But sometimes 2 ova are released by the ovary at the same time. Okay, when 2 ova are released from the ovary at the same time, and these ova are fertilized by the different sperm, then 2 zygotes are formed, and these zygotes develops into individual and twins are formed. So 2 babies are born at the same time, and these babies are non-identical twins. Did you understand? Generally, out of the 2 ovaries, 1 mature ovum is released. आपने फीमेल रिप्रोडक्टिव सिस्टम में पढ़ा है कि 2 ओवरी होते हैं, डायग्राम में भी देखिए, और 2 ओवरी में से 1 मैच्योर ओवम रिलीज होता है 28 डेज में। ठीक है, लेकिन कभी कभी जब ओवा से 2 मैच्योर ओवम रिलीज होता है, ठीक है ना, और ये दोनों मैच्योर ओवम 2 स्पर्म से फर्टिलाइज होता है, तो 2 जायगोट बनता है, और ये जायगोट डेवलप होता है इंडिविजुअल में, और एक साथ बर्थ होता है। इसको हम लोग कहते हैं नॉन आइडेंटिकल ट्विंस। ये ट्विंस आइडेंटिकल नहीं होते हैं, क्योंकि ओवरी अलग है, स्पर्म अलग है। ठीक है, कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि एक ही ओवम स्प्लिट कर जाता है दो पार्ट में। स्प्लिट मीन्स ब्रेक होना, ठीक है ना। तो इफ वन ओवम स्प्लिट्स आफ्टर इट हैज बीन फर्टिलाइज्ड इनटू टू जायगोट्स, अगर फर्टिलाइजेशन के बाद एक ही ओवम स्प्लिट कर जाता है दो पार्ट में, ठीक है, और उसको स्पर्म से फर्टिलाइज हो जाता है, तो वो चूंकि एक ही ओवम से दो पार्ट बन जाता है, इसलिए दोनों पार्ट एक ही जैसे होते हैं और उस केस में आइडेंटिकल ट्विंस का बर्थ होता है। एम आई क्लियर चिल्ड्रन?
Yes, ma'am.
So sometimes two ova are released from the ovary at the same time, and these two ova are fertilized by two different sperms. So two zygotes are formed, and these two zygotes develop into individual. In this case, two non-identical babies are formed. It is called non-identical twins. कभी-कभी दो मैच्योर ओवम रिलीज होते हैं और ये दो मैच्योर ओवम दो अलग अलग स्पर्म से फर्टिलाइज होते हैं, तो दो डिफरेंट जायगोट बनते हैं और दोनों से बेबी बनता है। तो एक ही समय में दोनों का जन्म होता है, इसलिए दोनों का क्रोमोसोम का सेट अलग अलग होता है, क्योंकि दोनों अलग अलग स्पर्म से फर्टिलाइज होते हैं, दो अलग ओवम होते हैं। तो ऐसे केस में नॉन आइडेंटिकल ट्विंस का बर्थ होता है। कभी कभी एक ही ओवम फर्टिलाइज होने के बाद स्प्लिट हो जाता है, ठीक है ना। ओवम को स्पर्म फर्टिलाइज कर दिया तो जायगोट जो है वो दो पार्ट में स्प्लिट हो जाता है जायगोट। तो जायगोट सेम होता है, इसलिए दोनों का जीन सेम होता है, इसलिए दोनों का कैरेक्टर भी सेम होता है। तो ऐसे केस में दो बेबीज का बर्थ होता है और ये बेबीज कैसे होते हैं? आइडेंटिकल ट्विंस होते हैं। डू यू अंडरस्टैंड चिल्ड्रन?